How are you? Uh, welcome, welcome. Bring water. Welcome. Let me see. Try to plug in my plugs here. I think I must have left some of my long cords at Greg's house because. Okay, I think we got it. Welcome. We're going to talk about marriage today. We're going to talk about a lot of people have a lot of opinions about marriage and getting married and all that. And so we're going to talk about that today. So there's a lot of reasons that people think the best thing, if you find somebody you fall in love with, the best thing you can do is get married. And so we're going to talk about the pros and cons about getting married. Oh, just a second. I forgot my paper. So the big question is, why aren't you getting married? Or when are you getting married? Or when is your wedding date? I'm Jay. Hi, Rose. Hi, Curtis. Welcome, welcome, welcome. Why aren't you married? What I've learned about love at 77 that I wish I knew when I was 37. So if you're in your 20s or 30s, you're in the right place. And if you're in your 50s or 60s or 70s, you're in the right place. Carol, Linda. Yeah. So, let's talk about this relationship. Just got a text from my honey. He's getting ready to cut his grass. He cuts his own grass. I don't cut my own grass. We have a his and hers house. And at my house, I pay to have my grass cut, and he cuts his own grass. So good for him. Good for him. Hello, Miss Tanya, Nicole, Tara. Hi, Rose. How are you feeling today, Tara? Tara had hip replacement surgery, and Lord, that's a big deal. How are you feeling today? Are you still in pain? Lovely Jack, Stella, Lieutenant List. That girl, you much better? You had your post-op appointment this morning. So is your pain level going down? Is it better now, Tara? Rose, it is a big deal to get your hip replaced. That's a big deal. Yeah, Greg has had a hip replacement and he's had 2 knee replacements. So I always say you all are bionic. I'm glad it's much better. So we're going to talk about marriage. Why aren't Greg and I married yet? And what I wish I knew about love at 40 years ago. So if I was 37 and I knew what I knew now, it'd be a whole different story. Hi, Lisa. How are you? Good to see you today. Did you have a good day at work? Let's see. I'm going to reduce this because I can't see if there's anybody chatting in the Facebook group. So we're going to talk about, I've missed you all since that. So, I'm doing the lives Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday. So this is our Friday. This is my day. Hi, Aquarian Queen. Gosh, I had a day. I think I told you all that I lost my wallet or whatever and lost all my cards and my driver's license and everything. So today I went and got my driver's license, and so I feel good. At least I got that. And then my bank cards are in the mail and credit cards are in the mail. How are you doing, Aquarian Queen? Are you still being a queen? So, some of you have asked, like, where have I been? And I had to go on a healing journey, uh, because, a lot of times, most of the time, all of the time, you bring your baggage with you when you come into a relationship. And they have a thing that they say, if you want to see your put miracle grows on your character defects and your flaws, get in a relationship. And it all comes out, right? So I really had a lot of trauma. I've talked about that as a kid, and I brought all that into my relationship, and it was not pretty. But today I want to talk about marriage, because I get a lot of people say, when are you getting married? Or are you, like, oh my God, I want to get married. And that is not where we are here. So I have, so when I stepped away, I just had to listen to my own voice, and I had to do my own healing. Everybody does a relationship differently. Two people are going to do a relationship the same way. And what's okay for me might not be okay for you. And things that, the person that you're with is not right for me. And the person that's right for me is not right for you. So, you really, really, hi, Trey Bean, how are you doing? Good to see you. You have to really go into your inner compass and know what you want. Because, even if you're in a relationship, have you ever been that? Tell me, have you ever been in a relationship? Hi, Precious Taylor, how you doing? And hello, Marie. These are Facebook friends. And you go and you tell your friend about the relationship. Now, how many people, when you talk to your friend about your marriage or your relationship problems, has something positive to say or negative to say? When you tell them about, he did this, you did that. Hello, Anita. Anita's our moderator. She's her dad had some surgery today, so she's still here, and but she's been really busy with her dad today. But my question for you is, when you've had problems with your relationship, and you talk to your friend about it, do they usually tell you something positive or negative? Do they have something positive to say about him or the relationship, or negative? Just put in the chat. If you have a problem with the man you're with, or even if you're with a man, or if you have been with a man, or you have been married, negative, right? So if you have a relationship, negative. Marie says negative. Whenever you go to somebody, both Aquarian, you've had them had positive and negative. My experience is mostly negative. That if you have some problems, people kind of want to hang him up by his toes. So that's just kind of goes to tell you that when you're in a relationship, you don't tell your friends anything about your relationship anymore. That's right. Absolutely. Because they always have something negative to say, and it affects you. If it's a good friend of yours or it's a relative and they're telling you something negative. Hi, Yvette, how are you doing today? And so, yeah, that's really smart, Anita, to not really tell people about what's going on. And, I personally had so much feedback that I had to go, away and listen to me, because I'm not like some 20 or 30 or 40, even 40-year-old. I'm 77. So what I want might be different than someone who's that. So when you've been alone for 46 years and then hadn't dated for 20, you might think that I was lonely. Tara said, you stop talking about your relationship too, right? So like I said, could I? Mary said, that's why I'm single. I have a friend who she always had something negative to say. Yeah, this is it. You're in a relationship, right? And then you tell them, oh yeah, he did this, this, and this. And then they're like, yeah, I don't know why and they tell you all this stuff. Then you by yourself, and then they're like going on about their life, and like you're like by yourself because you listened to what they told you. How many of you have had that happen? would never be with them. And then they get with somebody who's even worse than you had. So you like are telling them about your relationship with them. Yeah, I wouldn't deal with that. And then you look at who they're with and what they're putting up with. And then you're like, really? And now I'm by myself. I like, so yeah, you really, no two people are going to do the relationship. And there's only what you want and what fulfills you. What fulfills you? Because, I was really, by myself for 20 years. I had a rhythm in my life. I was fine. I wasn't sitting around, because if I had wanted to be with somebody during the 20 years, obviously I would have been with somebody for the 20 years, but I was fine. And because I had decided, I made up my mind that my love life was over. Hi, Vera. I'm glad you're here. I made up my mind that it was over. That part of my life was over, because I didn't want to have those feelings. I didn't. And number one, I have to talk about this. When you have those feelings, Dominique, you know what I'm talking about? Those feelings, like you're just like your heart beats fast and your legs get weak. Yeah, I was married for 10 years. In fact, I was married for 10 years. I have 2 beautiful children. I'm so grateful for that marriage because I love my children. I have one son and one daughter, and I have one grandson and one granddaughter. So that happened with my ex-husband, but we were only married for 10 years. And sadly, he's in hospice. He's dying. He's only 6 months older than me, but he had a rough life and he drank a lot and all that. And he's in hospice. My daughter called crying that her dad doesn't have much longer for this world, so that's when you get to be my age, most of the people around you start dying and stuff. So you really, really value your time. But anyway, I felt like when I was like 55 was the last relationship I had before I met Greg. So I was by myself for 20 years. And that last relationship, I had those feelings, you know what I mean? Those feelings of, passion and desire and legs weak and heart beating fast. And you know what I mean? That kind of thing. And I had it. It was with the wrong person. And I just said, like, no, I don't want to do that again. I'm 55. I'm done. I don't want to feel those feelings anymore. None. Nada. Thank you for the prayers, Vera. And I didn't think I could feel those feelings, really. By the time you're like over 60, you can't have those feelings. But, when I met Greg, I had those feelings. I was just shocked. I was so shocked. I was just absolutely shocked. Yeah, those feelings. You can't describe it. It's just like you have those feelings. It's like, what? And that's what I said. It's like, what the heck just happened? When we were together, I was like, what just happened? This is not like me. I hadn't felt those feelings. So I had built this life, that didn't have those feelings. That was what I didn't have. It wasn't that I, what can I say? It's not that I was lonely, but it's just like I cut off the feminine part of me. And so, I was fine, and I, had the lid on it. Just I had the lid on it. So, and then you meet someone, he's just saying, well, I'm just doing what I do. I like meeting women and I do blah, 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 blah. And I'm like bonded, like, oh my God, what just happened? And I was like 6 months ahead of him in the scheme of things. Now, let me ask you this. You tell me yes or no. If you meet someone and you meet someone and you're ahead of them in the game, like you're like 6 months ahead of them in the relationship and the commitment process, Would you throw the relationship away because they're not on the same page as you are when you are? Let me say yes or no. Say yes or no. You're one place in a relationship. He's somewhere else in the relationship. Um, would you throw it away? Or would you say, I think he can get there? You would say you throw him away, Rose. You throw him away. It's kind of like this. It's like you have a business, like I'm a businesswoman. I've had a business, and my business isn't where I want my business to be. I mean, like right now, I have something going on. I have this new application. I worked very hard on it, and it's not where I want it to be. I know it can be there, but it's not there right now. I'm not going to throw away. I mean, all the money I've invested, all the time I've invested, I'm not going to throw it away because it's not where I want it to be right now. So that's how I think as a businesswoman. So if I say, for example, I see someone, and I mean, like with Greg, for me, and I'm not faulting you or saying what you because you had to follow what right for you. But for me, I say, first of all, once I realize, they're not where I am, but they're showing up and they're doing the right things, I think he can get there. And so I didn't throw it away. I allowed him the time. And let me tell you something. Men are never, it's going to be very, very, a sincere man is never going to be where you are. It takes them time. Men do not bond the same way that we bond. So if we're supposed to expect that they're going to be where you are, and we're in charge of the relationship. We're in charge of it. So you could choose him. He hasn't chosen you yet, but you've chosen him, and you think he can come around. Now, with Greg, it took a lot to get him to come around, but he came around. You say they really don't. Yeah. I won't be bonding until he does. Then I don't know what to say about that, because men don't bond. They're just made up differently. They're made up differently. They're not made to bond. They bond sexually, but they do not bond the way it just takes them longer. So if you can not bond, you could look at it, like a lot of times you look at it as a business from a business viewpoint. I'm not going to bond. I'm going to invest some time in here and give them, whatever, knowing that they're not going to come around like when you do. So, yeah. So anyway, that's another story. And like my husband, when we got married, like he was not there. He was not there. But we did get married. We were married for 10 years, had 2 beautiful children. But he did not have the capacity to be ahead. I mean, we're smarter than they are. We can see when there's a potential, because you look at it. I don't want to be callous here, but marriage is more of a business. Hi, Nina Finney. How are you doing? Marriage, once you said and done, after all the romance and all of that, it turns out to be a business. It's what you bring to the table, what he brings to the table. If you like does he match what you bringing to the table, what you want, and are you bringing to the table what he wants? And that's it. And if they don't have a want match where they're not looking for someone for a lifelong, it's more than just love. You can love somebody and it won't work out because it's not a match. So, I was fine. I was fine. I will say this about Greg. He knew how to show up. Like he showed up every weekend he took me out. We went out I mean, just like he's like a machine, like he was there. He was kind. He never argued. I mean, it was 6 months before I ever went to his house. And he came here every weekend. So was he bonded as far as, because he says, am I in love with you? Not yet, but I'm getting there, and we talked about it. And, I didn't say to him, oh, I'm in love with you. I was just like, oh yeah, this is where we are. You don't show your hand. You don't show your hand, but as a woman, that you're bound. He was very consistent. That's what I could say. I could depend on him. I mean, like now, he just texted me because he had to go into town to work today. And he just texted me. He says, I'm getting, he's the kind of guy that cuts his grass every Wednesday or Thursday without fail. He's got a riding mower. He rides on the mower. He does the same thing very consistently. So he did our relationship the same way. Okay, come Friday, Saturday, Sunday, he'd go home. And he did that for 6 months. And I got used to him coming every weekend, which was a problem for him when he tried not to come. Rose, you said if you found someone like Greg, you wouldn't need to get married. So, but I did, what can I say? But there does come a time when you just have to walk away and say, okay, this is how much time has elapsed. I mean, hey, we got to be business women. We have to be smart when we're not thinking with our heart, because if we're someone we want to spend our life with, then we have to see what our want needs. For some of you want someone who's consistent and kind and wants to have children or will accept your children. Those are things like you want to look on your list to say, okay, what are the things that he brings to the table? And what are the things that I bring to the table? And so you want to see, are you looking for someone that's going to take care of you financially, change your lifestyle? Then that's another thing that you want to think about. You want to consider, like a businesswoman, what is it that I want? Now, you could be bonded to the wrong guy. Like Lisa was saying, you could be bonded to the wrong guy. But if you're bonded to the wrong guy, you have to think smarter than that, because you know what's going to happen. So anyway, so why are Greg and I married? Because the people, I get a lot of things, especially on Facebook. I get a lot of like, when are you getting married? When is the date? Okay, so I told Greg, I'm not going to tell you the date. I told him on Thanksgiving, okay, here's the date, that we'll have as our wedding date. And I told him, right? And he I guess he agreed. And because there's certain things that I need to take care of myself before I would agree to marry you. The other thing I want to tell you is, how many of you think that it's easy living with another person? Yeah, Bridget says, if you don't feel safe with a person, then it might be time to walk. Absolutely, if you don't feel safe with them. And it has nothing to do with love, money, feeling safe emotionally and physically. Absolutely. I think safety is number one. Okay. So, yeah. So it's not easy living with someone else. I mean, like Greg and I, we're living at each other's house. He had to go. Usually what he does is he has an office that he has to go to on Wednesday and Thursday. So usually what he'll do is he'll leave here on Wednesday morning. He'll come here on Saturday or Sunday, and then he'll spend Saturday, Sunday, Monday, Tuesday, and then he'll get up Wednesday morning and then drive 3 hours. Actually, it's more than that, to these two offices, and then he'll spend the night there. Then he will go to the work on Thursday, do whatever he has to do, and then come back here Thursday night. And then we'll spend Thursday, Friday, and then Saturday, we go back to his house. Well, this week he had to go Monday night. He said, I've got to go back. I've got a 9 a.m. appointment on Tuesday. And, I'm fine when I'm home by myself. I eat a lot of vegetables. Sometimes I have a lot of gas. It's hard when you're around somebody. You can't even have gas. When you've been living by yourself, when you live by yourself, if you have gas or something like that, you can go. But you have somebody there. It was one day, it was so funny. It's embarrassing. We were at his house, and I ate popcorn. Popcorn makes me really gassy. And so I was going to be romantic. So I went over there and then I just kept tooting. I was trying to be romantic. I was so embarrassed. I'm good, Shishi. And I was so embarrassed, because I couldn't stop. It was like a motorboat. So I have to not eat popcorn when we're together. Yeah, he does. Okay, I don't mind, but I think one time or a couple of times we were in bed, he might have just, but he's not gassy like it. One time he told me, so you need to get Beano. So, but anyway, when you live by yourself, you kind of that time you have, by yourself. So when he goes to go to his office, I'm not oh, okay, I'm okay, all right, I'll see you when you get back, So I like having my own house. And the other thing, and I love Greg, but he's really, really anal about a lot of things, and I don't know why, but anyway, this is the way you put the silverware in the dishwasher, and this is what you do, all that, so he's really particular. And I think, my house is always very neat, but I'm not I'm not over him. I said, you're looking over my shoulder, snooping around in my bathroom. It's he's Snoopy. One time I was there, I have a board, I have a board here, I have a board there. And I was writing down, my plans of what I was going to do. And then I went home. I'm trying to think. I went home. I think I was home a few days, whatever. And he erased my board. I gave him hell. Why did you erase my board? Why are you in here snooping in my office? This is my office. That you're erasing my board. So he's, oh, I'm so sorry. But he is kind of OCD. He cuts his grass every Wednesday and Thursday, and he's very OCD. So when I'm home, I don't have all that OCD-ish around me. So I'm 77, he's 74, and he's never he doesn't argue or anything. He's just picky. So when the first year we were together, and I tried to go in the kitchen, he's like, don't come in the kitchen. I got it handled. Don't worry about it, everything, So now at least I'm in the kitchen and we both do the dishes together and we both fix our own meals together. And we do this here, but when I'm here, I'm more relaxed. So I guess do women get married and move in somebody else's house? We've been together, Lisa, 2 years and 3 months. We dated for a year. We got engaged after a year by duress on my part for him. And now we've been engaged. And I told him when I met, I said, okay, I want us to date a year and then we'll get engaged and we'll have a long runway. The runway could be indefinite. I don't know. But It's not about marriage. So I think it's more the commitment. What I was interested in, what did the engagement meant to me was not that we have a date, like we're going to rush down the aisle, but it was more to me like we're making this commitment. We're going to spend the rest of our life together. That's what I wanted. How we do that, we'll decide. But I don't think if we rush to get married, I think we would lose something. I mean, the fact that if I'm at his house and I want to come home, my house is here. I have my house, and vice versa for him. If he needs some space, but we know that we're committed. We know that we're committed to each other, and we know that we're spending the rest of our life together. So like today, he texts me and he says, "I just got home from work, and I'm going to cut the grass. And if I'm too tired, I'm going to spend the night here, and I'll come over in the morning." Well, I think I work tomorrow, but anyway, if he comes tomorrow morning, and then he says, tomorrow evening, we're leaving for our little 4th of July trip. So, we're going to trip we're going to the Villages. We like to go there. And so we're going to be leaving tomorrow afternoon, I guess, to go for our little weekend trip for the 4th of July. So, I don't have to worry about that. You know what I mean? We have the commitment. And what, do I have to be married to have that commitment? I don't know. I don't think so. One of the best things about getting older is I don't care what other people think. I share things like I just shared about passing gas. I mean, I did another talk and somewhere else about being embarrassed. So when you're embarrassed, what is being embarrassed about? It's like they're over there, people are over there looking at you and have an opinion about what you said or what you did or what you have on or who you are. And I'm going to allow what they think or say or believe about me to make me feel embarrassed? I don't think so. Why, who's going to be embarrassed? Why will I be embarrassed? Why would I be ashamed of who I am? I mean, none of us are perfect, and some of us are more imperfect than others. I make a living. I've made a living in helping people with their problems, but that didn't mean, sometimes I had the same problems or maybe even more the problems. When we have problems, and that's why I talk about the invisible rule, is because when we have problems, usually it's not, we don't have the problem because we don't know better, or we don't know, like we don't have the knowledge of it. It's that something bigger in us takes over. Oh, thank you, Tara. So yeah, I appreciate, my special ladies. We still have to do something together. Oh, you did the invisible rule last night. What did you think? Did you like it? Oh, awesome. Awesome. I'm so glad to hear that. Did you think it was helpful? It was spot on. Yeah, it is, isn't it? It's like she's smarter than me. She's smarter than me. If you haven't done the invisible rule, Tara did the invisible rule. Yeah, she is really right on. In fact, I do it myself and it kicks my butt. She kicks my butt. I'm like, she is kicking my butt and it's me. You did the tool. You liked it too? Oh, that's great. I'm glad to hear that. Yeah, I took 6 months to build that. And I'm so proud of that. And I think it's going to help so many people. But yeah, because I'll go on. Like if I have a problem or if Greg and I do anything, I'll go and I'll do the invisible rule and she'll kick my butt. The invisible rule is a help to get coaching, and you love it, Anita. Oh, I'm so happy about that. So it's like talking to me. It's like you would be talking to me and you talk about your problems and I'll give you an answer to the problem. Uh yeah, yeah, yeah. That's why I should really do it every morning. Like go there and say, okay, this is what's going on, and and get the invisible rule. But we'll put the link in the chat. Okay. Okay, Pamela. Okay. All right. Um so Greg, I think one time I said something about not marrying him, and his feelings were hurt, and I was like, no, I'm not saying we're not going to get married. I'm just saying I'm going to tell you right now. I'm going to be honest. Like the being not being embarrassed. So right now, I've invested a lot of money in the invisible rule. I'm going to tell you that. I have 7 people working for me. I had to hire a new person today to help me with something else. And I have a mentor, and he's the one that taught me or helped me build it, because it's all AI. And he has like so many hundreds of thousands of people on his list, and he's going to share it with his list. And so there are things on the back end, like emails and things that you should receive when you do the invisible rule. I don't have that set up yet. So I had to hire, we're meeting tomorrow. I got to organize it because it's kind of disorganized. But I've got like 1, 2, 3, 4 tech people helping me with the invisible rule. And then I have people doing my videos, and I have people doing stuff. So, I invest a lot of money in doing that. So right now, to be honest, oh, good, Anita. Okay. Um, to be honest, my money's kind of funny right now because I've spent a lot of money on this, hiring people. I still have people, like I have a payroll. And so thank you, Tara. So so my money's kind of funny, and I don't want to be with Greg. He's like, because he's very, very, he's a financial planner, number one. Number two, he's very frugal. And number two, he's very money conscious. And I do not want to be with someone that I can't do what I want to do. I have a certain lifestyle, and there's certain things that I do for myself, like waxing and my hair and my nails and massage and gym, and Pilates, like there's a lot of things. It takes a lot. Like you say, Pamela, you're 77 and you don't look like it. You got to spend some money, honey. You got to take care of yourself. And, and I eat a certain way. So the way I eat my food, like Greg goes and buys groceries at Walmart. Really? I'm sorry if anybody here does go to Walmart to buy groceries, but let's see. You have one of them too? Yes, please do, Pamela. Do that. So anyway, bottom line is, because, like, for example, and he pays for everything. We go out to eat. He's taken me away for the weekend for our 4th of July. So he's very generous too. But you buy your groceries at Walmart too? Okay, that's fine. I've been in Walmart more than I've been in my whole life since Greg and I've been together. Like for him, it's an outing. Okay, let's go to Walmart or let's go to Costco. So I'm like, okay, here we go. I like to go to Costco because I have a smoothie every day, and I use organic strawberries. So Greg has to buy my strawberries at Walmart. Where do I get my groceries? I get them at Publix. I have gone to, every now and then, like today I went to Fresh Market and I picked a couple of things, but I want to make sure the food I eat is organic. And you got to keep in mind, I eat mostly, I'm a vegetarian, and I eat mostly vegetables and fruit. And, and I like it to be organic as much as possible. So I just feel like the quality of vegetables and fruits are better at another store than Walmart. But I'm not saying, like Greg has gotten corn there. We get my yogurt. We've got my yogurt because I have no sugar in my yogurt, but they have a vanilla yogurt with no sugar that we get at Walmart. So, I go to Walmart with him, and he buys stuff. You don't have any Publix here in Texas? Okay, okay, that's fair. That's fair. You like Whole Foods, Tara? Yeah. Whole Foods, I think, is very expensive. I mean, I think that they really raise their foods up too high. But anyway, long story short is for me in our deal, like there are some women. Oh yeah, you're right. You're right. Who's this that said Kim? Yeah. When I first met him, he didn't hardly smile. He hardly showed any emotion. How many people like you, like Lisa and Anita and Tara, you all knew him, you saw him in the beginning. Yeah, it's and I think they raised their prices way too high, but I mean I've gone there, but I just think they've just taken advantage of people that want to eat healthy at Whole Foods. But anyway, but Kim was saying that Greg seems disconnected. So I think he come out of his shell a lot since we've been together. How many of you who've known him for a while, that say, he has really, he's come alive. Yeah, he has, yeah, yeah. So Kim, I understand. He is not, he's number one, he's an introvert. And I'll to tell you something very funny. It's just so funny because he's just like a real introvert, and he likes not to be noticed. He doesn't want anybody to notice him. Yeah, absolutely, Tara, from the beginning. But he doesn't want anybody to notice him. So he's been going to this church for, I don't know, 12 years or whatever. I've been going with him the last couple of years to go to his church. But he doesn't want anybody to talk to him. He wants to go into church, listen to the message, and leave. He doesn't want people to smile. He doesn't want to talk. He doesn't want to chit chat. He just doesn't want to be noticed. And so the other Sunday we were there, and for some reason, everybody was talking to him. And the people walked in the door and they said, hi, they would talk to him. And then another person was talking to him. And then someone sat next to him and they were talking to him. I think I shared with you, the guy that was sitting next to him is an older guy, and his wife was in a wheelchair. And he was saying to Greg, he says, do you have a pool? Because your wife's legs are very tan. So Greg, like, yeah, she's African American. Yeah, she does have tan legs. Like, what, he's looking at my legs. And he says, but I do have a pool. So like Greg had a magic pool that made my legs tan. But anyway, I was so funny. I had to tease Greg, like, everybody's like talking to you today, because he doesn't like to talk. He likes to not be noticed. And that's why, like, I'll tell you someone that he loves me, because number one, he does not do social media. He definitely doesn't do TikTok. He never posts. And yet he was on the lives with me every Sunday. You remember that? I mean, that was love, because he did not like, and his ex-wife was like, I know you don't like that. Stop. Tell her to stop. Tell her to stop. And he was like, no, I got it. I have to be there for her, So, that said a lot, because he did not like social media. He still doesn't like social media. He doesn't like to be seen. He doesn't like people to notice him. And then he was like surprised that people would like him, that, yeah, he supported me. So that, that told me, even though he might not have been bonded, he was doing all the right things, And he wasn't walking away. And you know what? I mean, you all know, those who were there, I pulled a few numbers on him and he didn't go anywhere. I was surprised that he kept coming back. I was embarrassed myself. It's like, go away. I don't want to ever see you again because I'm embarrassed. Yeah, that was why my son was laughing, because he what did he do? He left. He's like, I'm leaving. And I was mad. So I said, okay, you leave me. All right, fine. And so he had a table. I don't know if you remember, he bought a table from IKEA and it was in my office. And so I hired someone. It was really heavy. I hired someone to put the table out in the garage, and he was going to come pick it up that Saturday. And so I put the table in the garage, and then I left because I didn't want to see him, because I just never wanted to see him again. And so I left the table in the garage. And so it was really heavy. And he like came here to pick up this table. And it's like, she didn't even stay here to help me with the table. Anyway, so I just stayed. I'm going to stay gone the whole time. And then, when I thought he was gone, I came home and I was like, okay, the table's gone. All right, now I can come home. Well, he was waiting down the street for me to come home, and he drove up. And he says, can you just talk to me for a minute? Because I blocked him. I wouldn't take his phone call. And he was like, can you just like at least talk to me? Tell me what I did wrong. And I was like, no, I don't want to talk to you. And then so he tried to talk to me, and I started running from him. And he was chasing. And then I got in my garage and I pushed the button, and the garage door slammed in his face. So now I'm in the garage, and I realized that I had locked the door, so I couldn't get in the house. I was stuck in the garage. And I was like, oh gosh, I got to come out the garage. So anyway, I come out the garage, and he's still out there. Pamela, won't you at least talk to me? Can you talk to me? And I was like embarrassed of my behavior. My son said to me, he said, Mom, most people your age are sitting on the front yard in a wheelchair, and you're like running from your boyfriend. Slamming the garage door in his face. So many times I was so embarrassed. I was embarrassed, because I was like, my behavior. So my invisible rule had me be 16. I was like 16 years old. I was 75, but I was 16 years old. And he didn't run. He just kept like, okay, I guess there's something good here. So, we have a lot of fun memories. We laugh about all this, now, like, oh my gosh. And that we weathered all of that. We weathered a lot. Yeah, we do. We really do. We really do enjoy our time together. I mean, I don't think I've ever, unless like we had those challenges, like I always have felt safe with him. And he's never, I've made him really mad a few times. He's never yelled at me, ever. He's never, ever yelled at me. Now, I'll tell you what he does do is that he wants to spend time together. We're supposed to spend time together. So he does get miffed with me, number one, if I work really late and I ignore him and we don't spend evening time together or dinner together. He wants us to have time together. So, and he doesn't say anything. He just like is mad. You can see he's mad. The other thing is that he doesn't like we get together and in the evening, and then I'd go to sleep. So in the whole evening I would be asleep, and then he'd be like, we're supposed to spend time together, and I'm like asleep, and he really does, he doesn't like that. He doesn't like for me to go to sleep. So I like I stopped I used to get up really early, like 5:45. And by 9 o'clock, I'm ready to go to sleep, So our bedtime is usually 10 o'clock. So he really does not like, for me to go to sleep. And so it was like every evening we'd sit there, and then all of a sudden he'd look over there, and I'm asleep. He doesn't say wake up. He just looks over there like she's not spending time when she's asleep. And one night he was here, and we were in like his man cave, and I was really sleepy. And I said, okay, I'm just going to take a little nap. And I slept like 5 hours. And so he did not like that. And he lets me know he doesn't like it. He goes to bed and he's like pouting because he's mad. But he doesn't yell or anything like that. But so I know that's a pet peeve of his, is that I go to sleep after the evening. So like I'll be sitting there and I'll be like having toothpicks in my eyes, like trying to stay awake. So because it was like every evening we'd be together. Well, we wouldn't be together because we'd be there and I'd be asleep. So anyway, I mean, that's like the time, like one night, I was working on the invisible rule. This is what happened. I was working on the invisible rule, and my mentor said, I'm going to share it between 75 billionaires today. And so I went in there to make sure it was working okay. And I went over there and tried to fix one little thing, and the whole thing stopped working. And I went crazy. And I went in there. It was on, what day was it? It was Father's Day. It was Father's Day. And so we'd gone to church, and then, no, it wasn't Father's Day. It was some other day. And we went to lunch, and then I came back and I went in my office, and he didn't see me till 11 o'clock. So I was like 9 hours I was in my office working, trying to fix it. And he was mad about that. But, he just shows, he doesn't like, and then the next day he's okay. It's like, he's like, so, I feel safe with him. I feel safe with him. And I never badger him. I mean, I have had a few instances, when he says, well, can you just drop it? I'm like, no, we can't drop it, but because he doesn't like conflict. So marriage, I mean, we have plans, we're both working out every day, when we're doing that. We like to do things. We like to ride bikes. My foot is still healing from being hurt. So like he was going to like get me to go horseback riding this weekend, because he knows I like to ride horses. And he surprised me. One time he surprised me just for no reason, and for horseback riding. And then for my birthday, he got horseback riding for all of that. So let me see. I wonder if I could put the invisible rule. I wonder if I could put something in the chat. I don't know if I can do that. No, I don't know. Yeah, he's very intentional. So let me put the invisible rule over here in Facebook. I don't know how I could put it in TikTok. Let me see. Here you go, here. And then I'll put it there. So this is the invisible rule for Facebook, TikTok. Let me see. How would I do it? Let me see. Can you all see me? Still see me? I closed the app for a minute. Nope, that's not it. Okay, let me see. Can you all still see me or not? Okay, I copied the link. Let me see if I can go back to you. You all that's still here. I don't know how to let me see. I don't know how to. I don't know how to put it. I don't know how to join the chat here. This is chat. Is there somewhere where you go in the chat? Here? I don't know. I should learn how to do this. I don't know. Anita always does it. She's driving, so I can't. Lisa, I'll send it in. Put it in your message in your email. Let me see if I can do that. Let me see if I can do that. What is this? Go live with guests. I wonder if I could put something here. I don't know how to, I just don't know. Here, service, here, share, add to story. That's a click. Here, live gifts, flip camera, mute, remove background noise. I don't know. I can't. Oh, okay. Trey Beans did it. She put it there. Thank you. Thank you. Okay. Trey Bean put the link there. She pinned it. Okay. So you can go and do it yourself. It's free. You can do the questionnaire, you can do the report, the thing. And if you want to get the report's like $7, but you don't have to, and then you can do the whole thing. But the first two things you can do are free. So go ahead and try that. Okay. So this is it for the week. I will be back next Monday, Tuesday, and Wednesday. And I'm so glad to be back live. You know, I was gone I guess I was gone almost a year. So I love talking to you all and sharing with you all. And Anita, thank you so much for being our moderator again. And I'll see you all next Monday. Take care. Bye-bye. And have a happy 4th of July too. Okay, I'll see you, Facebook. Thank you. And yeah, Pamela, message me. Okay, bye-bye.